Hey Algebra Prep, welcome to topic 3 of our linear unit. We're going to talk about slope from a graph today. So notes for slope from a graph is our the slope we're working on today. So I have, if you printed the notes, page of notes, it's in the assignment. That might be helpful to you. If you do not have it printed, then you don't need to print it. Just make sure that you are on your screen kind of following along and knowing what to do for these problems. So, slope. Let's talk about slope. Slope is denoted by the letter M. So I'm going to write up here at the top part. Let's take a little bit of notes on slope. So slope here, we denote in math with the letter M. Not sure why it's an M, but that is the letter that represents slope when we're talking about slope. And slope measures the steepness of a line. So this is important to note. So it measures steepness. So slope measures steepness. And so when we talk about slope, we talk about how steep the line is. And so today we're going to focus just on, from a graph, how do we find slope? So over here, I know a lot of you, whenever we do this in class, we have you guys do a lot of brainstorming. So I know you know some stuff about slope. And so you might have heard of slope called the rise over run, right? Rise over run. It's a fraction looking like that, right? So slope, I'm going to go back over here. Slope is a fraction. Slope is a fraction, right? So slope is a fraction. It's important to recognize that it's a fraction. And it's a fraction that we talk about in terms of rise over run. So over here, I wrote rise over run. And so rise is when so if we're talking about the rise, we're talking about how we're going to count up or down. So the rise, so you could think rise is going up, right? So the rise is the up and down. And then the run is when we count right or left. Which is a little bit different when we talk about points, right? Points is x comma y. So we're on the x-axis, then we're on the y-axis. Slope is different than when you think about points. So we got to make sure that we're clear on the coordinate plane and how to plot a point and what those points represent, and then how to do rise over run, right? So rise, when we count up, we're going in the positive direction. When we count down, we're going in the negative direction. And then when we count to the right, we're counting in the positive direction. When we count to the left, we're counting in the negative direction. And when we talk about this rise over run here, we are talking about the rise over run in terms of from one point to another, right? So we're going from one point, right, which is x comma y, right, an ordered pair, on the line to a second point. So it's a different point on the line. That is how we are finding slope, right? So that's just the general gist of it. We're going to do some practice on it now. So rise over run is what we're going to work on today. We're going to be counting up or down, and then we're going to be counting left or right. And we're going to be going from one point, which is one ordered pair on a line, to a second point. So the first problems, I have points identified for you. So I should have numbered these. I did not. I guess you can number them with me as we go. So let's look at this top right box. Let's go and put a number 1 in here. That would have made sense if I numbered them. Sorry about that. All right, so I'm going to make my pen red here, right? So the slope, we have 2 points. So if you notice here, there's a point. I'm going to fill them in with my red pen, right? They're already on your graph, are right here. And what we're going to do is we are going to find the slope between these 2 lines. So when you go to find the slope, I like to start at the bottom one. Doesn't really matter, but if we start here at the bottom, I'm going to go straight up this grid line. This is the grid lines. These light gray lines are the grid lines. And then we're going to go over make a left, and go over to the other point, right? We're connecting those 2 points with a right angle triangle, if you remember right angle triangles. Right, so you're going to go all the way up and then hang a left and go straight over to the other point. So you should have all your triangles should land on the grid lines. They should not be off the grid. And so then we're going to count. So we're starting down here. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And since we went up, it's positive. So that's plus 6. And then we're going to go here and we're going 1, 2, 3, 4. And since it's to the left, it's negative, so it's -4. So we said slope is rise over run. Stick it right here so I can see it. Rise over run. So my rise, right, my up and down right here was a +6. My run, my back and forth right this direction was a -4. And then our last thing we should always do with all slopes is to simplify this, right? So we can divide out of 2. We can divide out of 2, so this equals 3 over -2. Here is my slope. Right, so simplify as much as you can. Right, so simplify, I'll make a note here, simplify. Always, all year we've been simplifying fractions, right? Now, I want to show you that it does not matter which way you draw your rectangle. Because if I go from this top point here and I go down first on this left hand side and then cut over to the right, we could draw a triangle, not a rectangle, a triangle. We could draw a triangle down here below, right? Then we could count down, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we went down 6, that makes it -6. And then we went to the right 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, to the right 4. So if we did it in the green one instead of the red triangle, right? This means that this bottom one would be -6 over 4, which simplifies to -3 over 2, which -3 over 2 is the same thing as 3 over -2. So it does not matter. You can pick to do the triangle on top. You can pick to do the triangle underneath the line. It is totally your choice, whichever one makes the most sense to you. All right, so that is slope, rise over run. So let's do some practice. So I'm going to go over here to our number 2. Okay, I'm going to write number 2 here. Keep us nice and organized. So I have a point here. I'll go ahead and fill it in red, and then a point here. Those 2 points are on our graph. So we get to choose if we want to go and draw a triangle above or below. So I'm going to draw it above. So I'm going to draw my triangle straight up the grid line. I'm going to get up to here to 2. Then I'm going to make a right and go straight over to the second point. All right, so there's my right triangle. I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's up 4, so it's +4. And then I'm going to go to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And since we went to the right, we went +5. So we went up 4 and to the right 5. So it's rise of 4, run of 5. And that can't be simplified, so that problem's done. There's my slope, 4 over 5. Right, so rise of 4, up 4, run of 5. So you should be drawing these triangles. We want to see you drawing, if you printed the graphs, you should be drawing the triangles. You should be at least tracing it if it's on the computer screen. If you don't have graph paper, you should trace it with your finger up and over and count with your finger on the screen. And hopefully if it's on the screen, you can make your graphs bigger. Usually you can increase size of things so you can see them nice and clear. All right, so let's try. We're gonna do a handful of these. Make sure we're getting it right. So here we go. Number 3. All right, so I have points on my graph right here. I see my 2 points. So I'm gonna draw it above again. So I'm gonna go up, and then I'm gonna go to the left. All right, so there's my triangle. So I'm going up 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's up is positive. So that's +4 up. And then I went 1, 2, 3 to the left. That is -3. So rise of 4, run of -3. And if it can't be simplified, we are done. All right, so there's number 3. The slope is 4 over -3. All right. Number 4 here. All right, so I have a point here on the y-axis, and I have a point right up there. So I'm going to go straight up that y-axis. And then when I get up to the number 4, I'm going to hang a right. So I went up 1, 2, 3, 4. I went up 5 spaces. And then we went to the right 2. Now we don't count the space we start on. We count as we go up. So we started on the -1 and then we counted at 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1, 2, plus 2 to the right. So up 5 and to the right 2. We're counting how many boxes, if you want to think of it as counting boxes too, right? We have this 1 box, 2 box, 3 box, 4 box, 5 boxes on the way up. So rise of 5, run of 2. Since they're both positive, it's 5 over 2. Okay. Number 7 here. Oops. Number 7. All right, so number 7, I have a point here and I have a point there. So, whoops, that wasn't very straight. Go up, and then I'm going to the right again. So up and to the right. So from here, so starting down here, my first point, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's up 7. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To the right 5. So up is positive 7. To the right is positive 5. 7 over 5. Okay, so one more like this one. All right, so number 8 here. Oh my gosh, did I call that number 7? Let's go back. Why did I call that number 7? This should have been number 5. Let's change that. I don't know what I was thinking. This should be number 5. Let's go over here and make this number 6. There we go. That makes more sense. All right, so this line's got 2 points, 1 here and 1 here. So I'm going to go up and then to the right, another up and to the right. So we go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So plus 5 up, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 5 to the right. All right, so we had 5 up, and we had 5 to the right. Right, we can divide 5 out of both of those, or 5 divided by 5 is 1 over 1, or you could just put 1. This has a slope of 1. So either or, I don't care if you put 1 over 1, because it's rise over run, because it can be helpful to keep the rise over run there for when we get to graphing, or you can just put the number 1. Now we're on to number 7. So now just slightly different here in the last set of graphs. On the last set of graphs, you notice I did not give you the points. We gave you the points for the 1 through 6. We did not give you the points for the last set. So down here at the bottom, so this is going to be number 7. Down here, I'm going to make a note that we need to find 2 points on the line. Right, so we need to find 2 points on the line, and we need to find 2 points that we know the ordered pair, right? So we're looking for the x comma y for these points. So we want to see where the grid lines intersect. So grid lines intersect. Right, so we're going to go down. I want us to start at the top of this blue line, and we're going to go down and put a dot every place that we see that we can tell the ordered pair for that line. So let me change back to my red. Right, so I'm starting here at the top of this line, and I'm going down, and I'm going down, and I'm going down, and I'm going down. This here is the first place, right? This point where it's over 0 up 2 is the first place I see a point that is not, I can tell the ordered pair, right? Because all these points, I don't know what their points are. I can't tell. 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 But this one here is another point. So it's over 3, down 3. So 3, -3 is a second point on this line. Right? So these are the 2 points, and then if I keep going down the line here, right, I don't see any other points. So there's only 2 points on this particular one. Sometimes there might be more than 1, or 2, but you need at least 2, right? So 2 is what we have here. So from these 2 points, I just drew we can now go go up and to the left this time to make my triangle. So from the bottom point, I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, positive 5 up, and then 1, 2, 3 to the left, so that's negative 3. So my slope is a rise of 5, a run of negative 3. So my slope is negative 5 over 3. That negative sign really can just be out front if you want. Right, the negative can be on top, the bottom. You just need one negative sign, right? The whole thing's negative if one's negative. So it doesn't matter if it's on the bottom, it doesn't matter if it's on the top. If we would have drew the triangle on the below, then the negative would have been on top, or it could just be out front. That's totally your choice. All right, let's go over here to number 8. 2 more left in our notes here. So number 8. So again, let's go through and put the points that I can see. So I'm starting at the top. I see a point here, right, over 0, up 4, and then I go down, then I see a point here, over negative 1, up 2, and then I see a point here, over negative 2, up 0, and then I see another one right here, over negative 3, down 2, so negative 2, and then I see one more, over negative 4, down negative 4. All right, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points on this line that you can easily see the ordered pairs, right? They cross those grid lines. We can write down the ordered pairs. You get to pick any 2 of them. Now, if you pick 2 that are closest together, then you're not going to have to simplify your fraction. If you pick 2 that are far apart, then you're going to have to simplify your fraction. So I'm just going to pick the 2 that are right up here next to each other. I'm going to go rise over run right there at the top. You can pick any 2 points you want. They'll all end up with the same slope because this line, the slope is the steepness of the line. So no matter what point you pick on it, I'll show you here in a second that we can pick any of them. So right, so we go rise of 2 plus 2, run of positive 1. So my slope is rise of 2, run of 1. Or you could just write 2 if you want, right? 2 divided by 1 or 2. Now I'm going to show you, I'm going to change it here. I'll change it to purple. I'm going to draw a purple line. I'm going to draw a purple line that goes from this bottom point, the negative 4 to negative 4, up to this point right here. All right, so I do a purple line from negative 4 to negative 1, 2. And then I did rise of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's positive 6 up. And then I did 1, 2, 3 negative. All right, so my purple one, I have 6 up and I have negative, not negative. We went to the right, I'm sorry guys. We went up 6, that's positive. We went to the right 3, that's positive. So we went positive, so a positive 6 divided by a positive 3. 6 divided by 3 equals 2, right? So it does not matter which 2 points you pick, the slope will always end up exactly the same. All right, one last problem here. Number 9. Number 9, here we go. All right, so let's find our points. We have 1 here, and then I go down, 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 and 1 here. It looks like I just have 2 points that I can clearly identify, right? I have the point over 0 up 4, and I have the point over 3, negative 3. Right, those are the only 2 that I see. So now we're going to go rise up, and then go to the left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So positive 7 up. And then 1, 2, 3. There's my negative. Negative 3 to the left. So it's a rise of 7, a run of negative 3. So my slope is negative 7 over 3. All right, so there's my rise over run notes. Hopefully this was all clear to you. Your 4.03 homework will be finding slope from a graph.